Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles, and today we are taking a look at some of the decks I'm really excited to be pulling out for spring, because spring is almost here. Contrary to the weather this week's beliefs, spring is coming. So I've got my tulips, and my tulips personally are starting to grow, which is so exciting, because mine are new. Anyway, anything else I want to say? Now this is not like the totality of what I may be pulling out for spring. These are just the ones that I'm just real jazzed about. That like feel very specific to this time of year, and for the most part, this is kind of their time to shine. So let's get into it. We're going to start with Tarot, then move on to Oracle. We're going to be orderly. So, first up, the Forager's Daughter Tarot. Now this, like even the color of the box, so beautiful. It reminds me of, I also planted crocuses this year. Look at the sides. So pretty. And this color is making me think of them. So, this is a tarot all based around animals and botanicals. And pretty much on each card we get an animal and a plant, which I've discovered now. I have 3 decks that do that. And I love them all, but I think just for funsies, maybe they'll be later this week. I don't know. I might do like a side-by-side comparison, because it's the Forager's Daughter, the Animal Botanical, and then Forest Lore, which I really like all of them. So, but I just, I think it's fun to compare when you notice like, ooh, I've got 3 decks that kind of like do a similar thing. Anyways, this one feels like the spring time, that true kind of like early spring, April energy, because of the colors of it. Look at that woodpecker. We had one of those in our yard yesterday. It was so neat. I just love this one. It really has that kind of like Art Nouveau feel. I love the soft colors and the imagery. The guidebook for this one is fantastic. This is one I always get excited about to use this time of year, and pretty much it's like a purely springtime deck because it has that kind of emerging energy to it. Something about the way it's drawn and the coloring and stuff makes it feel like, to me, like, especially with the animals in it, that we're getting this moment when the animals are kind of either they're first waking up from hibernation, or they're, migrating back, or they've been awake all winter, but they're just sort of like doing that spring preparing. It just feels like that kind of moment. It's so beautiful. So that is the Forager's Daughter Tarot. And now I'm looking next to me because I've got a basket of decks I've been using with readings, my morning readings for Andy. And I feel like there is some spring energy in there, but we've got a lot of decks to go through. So let's keep going. Now this is one that I don't know. That's all I have to say. It's the Jonasa Jaus, number 6. And a few months ago, I didn't self-discover, someone told me at some point, that there is a PDF guidebook, and someone so nicely sent it to me. And did I, like, save it anywhere or print it? No, I didn't. So, and I don't remember who it was. A whole thing. So if that was you, or if you're just someone who does own the PDF guidebook, SOS. I swear I'll print it out right away this time. Anyways, I mean, total spring energy, right? This is the 6th one, so I feel like I don't fully remember the colorings of the other ones, but this like purple and green feels very spring to me, and it's got all these flowers. It's so beautiful. It really is such a beautiful deck, and maybe I think it is that I just need to use the guidebook with it, but I don't know to tell you that, like, it's not even like I have trouble working with the deck. I have trouble just picking it up to even use it. something about it, I'm like, I just don't even think to use it. And I think that, ooh, I think this is a tag that's going around right now of like decks that feel like you just don't pick them up. And this is mine. And I don't know why, because I'm like, I like this. I even like just looking at it. Which is why I don't picture myself like, you know, rehoming it or anything, because it's one that I just really like. I'm like, I wanna use it. Because I love everything about it. I love the flowers that show up. I love the way that people are drawn. I just don't know. So, another springtime, this one's coming out, and I'm determined this year. This was in my, if you watched my collection videos, I had a pile going of like decks I want to like really make an effort with giving attention to, and this was in there. So she is out because I really want to make that happen. But I think for me, since I'm such a guidebook kind of gal, I think it's going to be in the guidebook, which I just need to locate again. Alright. Next, Victorian Fairy Tarot. This is another one. I use this all year round, but there's just something about the springtime and fairies, especially this style of fairy. Very like vintage. We could zoom in a bit more, can't we? Yeah. This vintage, Victorian style fairy. This time of year, it's like I picture these characters just buzzing around the yard, making preparations, getting things ready. But it's a deck that as you can see, the suits are broken up into seasons, so it really is one you can use all year round. Look at how beautiful. And I do. But in the spring and summer, it definitely gets very heavy use, and just the colors of it. This is a deck that makes you so happy. It's just so gorgeous. I can't wait for that indie edition to come. I backed it on Kickstarter. This is, look at the backs of this. Ah, so good. So this is currently out of print. This is the mass market Llewellyn, but there's an indie version coming out, so, you know. Maybe in the links I'll put the Kickstarter page where you can keep up to date with, like, whatever's posted there, in case you're interested. But I love this one. It is a classic for me, especially this time of year. So that's the Victorian Fairy Tarot. Next up, Tarot of Mystical Moments. This is another one. It's the colors. The colors just feel so springtime to me, and like, I don't know, just that's where it feels like this time of year sits. Oh, that is showing all the glare. So sorry. I'm not gonna adjust. So sorry if that bothers you, but love this deck. Love the colors. It feels like that kind of waking up energy, like this. Oh, it feels like this like liminal space between winter and spring, which is where we are right now. That's just is the season of March, at least where I live, or the month of March, I should say. And so this is one that it definitely is like, I use it all spring, but it comes out the earliest. Sometimes this one will be out even towards the end of winter, because it really feels like it fits that liminal space. It's so beautiful. I love this deck so much. Look at that. Like that, that is spring, right? We got a lot of flowers and greenery, and it's just so dreamlike. So pretty. So, Tarot of Mystical Moments. Okay, next up, the Soul and Child Tarot. Now this is one for me where that last one was that liminal space between winter and spring. This one feels a bit like the space between spring and summer. So this is one I tend to carry through the summer as well. So it's kind of like that, more so like a later spring energy to me, but comes out in spring usually nonetheless. And I love this deck so much. It's just got this softness to it. I mean, undeniably, like a green, look at that card. Oh, so pretty. We've got animals and greenery and Animorphs, basically. Oh my gosh, if you read the books Animorphs as a kid, I need to know. Because they terrified me. My library growing up, we were there all the time. And they had this display for so long of the Animorphs, and like, it just freaked me out. I never read them because it just freaked me out. But so it's surprising that I like this, but I do. I think it's cute. Like, look at these little babies. Oh my gosh, like, yes, little weird hedgehog baby. I love it. But yeah, this definitely is kind of like a lighter half of the year deck. Look at that. Starts to come out in the spring. I'm so excited to have this one out again. Like, truly. It's so good. It's one of those ones where, I don't know, I just get excited to use it. And it was a real slow burn for me with this deck. Really was. But I don't know. Now that we're in it, we're in it. So that is the Stolen Child Tarot. Okay. Then we've got the fantastic Menagerie Tarot. And this is another one that really comes down to the coloring. It's a very pastel kind of tarot. Oh, so good. Of course, it's got that storybook feel. But it makes me think of, like the Peter Rabbit books, Winnie the Pooh. Though that's like style of story which feels so spring-like to me. Little Bear, all those, to me, they, in my head, it's like they're permanent spring in those stories. And so I feel like that's where part of the reason this goes there for me, but also just the colors. It's such a good deck. I'm excited. Look at that. Like, it just feels like spring and just, I don't know, all the, like, this deck specifically to me feels like that just joy and happiness you feel when there's that first sunny day, or like the first time I can drive home from work with my windows down. It just feels, that's what the feeling is for me with this deck. I love it. So, Fantastic Menagerie. That's the last one I had pulled out, but you know what? We've got some in this basket that, yes, they are spring. Let's show them. So, for starters, this is another one that I had in my pile of, like, let's make the effort this year, and it is the Pastoral Tarot, which possibly has my favorite bag I've made for a deck. Like, so good. If I do say so myself. This is a very, look at how pretty the backs are. It is a landscape deck. And look how beautiful. The artwork is by Lisa Hunt. Am I thinking that right? Am I getting that right, I should say? Yeah, right? Yes, Lisa Hunt. Who just has such gorgeous artwork. The way she captures light in her paintings is my favorite thing. And so the coloring in this deck really feels like especially the way light is captured, again, like those, when the light starts returning, when we hit that point that the days are getting longer, we can stay outside later. It's like this deck to me feels like it's that perfect spring temperature outside. Like, it's perpetually 70 degrees in this deck. And I do really like this one. I wasn't using it much. And I think sometimes I think it could be the same with the Jonasa Jaus. Sometimes I think when a deck is like just a different kind of shape, that can throw me off a bit, but I do really want to spend some time with this deck. I have been, it's in my basket, and I've been really enjoying it when it comes up. So, but yeah, isn't this, it's so springy. So that's another one, for sure. The Pastoral Tarot. Okay, any other, yeah, one more tarot over there. It's the Flora Tarot, which I have in this beautiful floral bag. And so this is completely a tarot of flowers, but I think what specifically makes me feel like this is spring is because it's in black and white. So it doesn't have that vibrancy I tend to just crave come summertime. And so it almost feels like, to me, how this deck kind of slots in my brain is like, okay, we've got these flowers, but they don't have their color yet. It's almost this thing of like a tarot that feels like garden planning, if that makes sense, where it's like you've got these plans, or you're starting the seeds, thinking about maybe what you want to get, or you're just starting to see the plants that you already have popping through the surface. It feels like garden planning, because it's like it hasn't taken its full form yet. But it's there, and the idea is there. That's, I don't know, that's just how it makes sense in my brain. So I think that's also why it feels like spring, because especially like right now, in March, very heavy garden planning going on. Because now this is the time, like, okay, we're starting the seeds. We are, at least personally, I'm digging out the new gardens I want to dig out. I think that's just how it feels in my brain, because it's this black and white, where I know like a black and white deck is really not something I'm going to want to use at the, like, that height of summer, that height of like gardening season. That's when I'm going to want the bright colors. But right now, when I'm in that planning phase, it feels like, yeah, this makes sense, this fits. So that's the Flora Tarot, and that is the last tarot I'm going to show today, so let's move on to the oracles. Starting with the Hedgewitch Botanical Oracle. Now this is one, again, I kind of carry this through all of spring and summer, but because of the coloring, it just fits in spring too. Because we've got this white background and minimal colors used. How this tends to work for me is like in the springtime, it is like the star of the show, the reading, the main deck, because it really has like on its own this spring energy. But come summer, it tends to turn to be more like supplemental deck, where I'm pulling another oracle that's probably more colorful or whatever, and this is like, okay, I want a second oracle in there, let's pull this out, because it just goes so well with so much. I love this deck. I don't even know what else to say, I do. I think it's the perfect springtime oracle. The keywords are amazing, the guidebook is amazing. That's all I gotta say. I think that's really that on that. It's so good. So, Hedgewitch Botanical. Okay, the next one is one that was new to me this winter, so it'll be its first season, but I think this is where it's gonna fit. And it's the Green Witch's Oracle deck. But we shall see. This is the one here where it's like, it's not really tested out, so I don't know. Because as we can see from the first card, it does span all seasons, It's one I have used. You know, I used it in winter. I really liked it in winter. But I think this one, I felt like I wanted to pull it out because I think it just is going to pair really nicely with a lot of the spring tarots I pulled out. And it's just like one of those good, kind of like reliable oracle that oracles. You know what I mean? Like when you just want an oracle that you know is going to do the job you're used to an oracle doing in a very straightforward way, this is perfect for that. So it's a really good, I feel like this is one of those ones in my arsenal where it's like, I know it's gonna work most times. So, but now, I don't know, I'm kind of questioning because it's like, this is a bit of a generalized one. I feel like, not necessarily, but like it had spring card, but you know, of course. But I think maybe just the theming of it made it feel spring to me, but I think it's a little bit more of like a general all year, which I tried to avoid pulling out. Because like, for example, it reminds me a bit of my Hedgewitch Oracle, which I did almost pull out to show, but I was like, well, I mean, my purpose was that it could be used all year long. I just kind of switch in and out some of the cards. And I kind of feel like this is a bit similar in that way, which is cool because, like, yeah, all year round, for sure. But that wasn't my purpose of this video. But regardless, Greenwich. Greenwich Oracle. Too late now. Alright. Next, we've got the deck I am obsessed with, but constantly forget the name of. So let's just... Fairy Temple. The Fairy Temple Oracle in this beautiful snowdrop bag. I love it so much. And I love this deck so much. It is my obsession. It makes my brain so happy. Like, truly, something about the way this art is done. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than it just feels like this instant serotonin in my brain, like, whenever I look at it. And especially the tactile experience, because it's that Blue Angel, like, soft matte. It's just good. This is, like, that amazing, like, vibrant kind of deck. So this is one that I definitely start using it in spring, but she is out until fall, being used constantly because I think it's the best. I just love it so much. This is like a top oracle for me. Oh my gosh. Yes. How good? Isn't this so good? Look at that Lily of the Valley. The willow. Makes me so happy. I'm so excited. So excited to be pulling this out again. I just think it's so awesome. And it's got amazing keywords. It's got like a really good keyword to start out with, but then gives you 3 more. Like, it's so versatile. It pairs so well with so much. I love this deck so much. I really, really do. That is the Fairy Temple Oracle. Okay. Next up, we've got the Divine Ephemera Oracle. Created by me. Which, I'm doing a spring pre-order soon, I should say, of this, the Hedgewitch, and the, In the Garden Hedgewitch expansion, so if that intrigues you, just saying. Anyways, here we go. So, clearly, Botanicals. And so this is another one. I mean, again, it's an all-year use so far for me. This is new in terms of when it came out this winter. So it hasn't had a spring summer season yet, but I already know, like, this feels to be, okay, we're all over the place. My purpose behind this deck was, like, providing myself a way all year long to engage in a meaningful to me way with plant energies. And so with this deck, I related each plant to a deity that I am just interested in, whether it's an association that they have in mythology or it's one that just through their meanings and like who the deity is, that's just the connection I made. And so it is an all year long deck, but I had to show it because I'm so pumped to start using it as I can watch these plants grow. I'm just so excited about it. Like this, the card on top was Hermes with crocus because my first blooming flowers are my crocuses. And so I've had this card pulled out because that's been my cue, like, okay, let's start looking into this Hermes energy. What is kind of going on in nature right now? How does that reflect? How does it relate? And it's been so much fun. It really has been so much fun. And so during the winter using this deck, it felt like this way to engage with plant energy and deity energy. Deity energy, you know, it is there whenever you want it to be, I suppose, but like the plant energy, it was like when the plants aren't growing, this was useful for me to kind of like connect with that energy. But it was a bit more of like, okay, we're looking at Hermes, and then the flowers came a bit secondary, I noticed, in my own use of like, all right, well, what do crocuses symbolize? What do they mean? What do I think about them? And then getting a message that way. And I'm so excited because it already feels like as the season shifts, my use of this has been shifting, where now it's kind of like the flower is coming to the forefront, where I'm relating it to what I can see outside of my crocuses are growing. And there's this relation of crocuses to Hermes. Like I said, how is that being shown in nature? How is that reflected in nature right now? How is it reflecting in my life right now? And it's so cool. I'm really excited about it, if you couldn't tell. Because I don't grow all of these flowers, I grow a lot of them though. And so it's gonna be really exciting to kind of be like, okay, what's blooming right now? How can I relate this? Like Hades with chrysanthemum, those chrysanthemums usually are like a very late summer, fall flowering plant. That relation to Hades of like, okay, we're starting to retreat back. Things are dying. We're going to that darkness again. Like so neat. And then Brigid with snowdrop. Snowdrops similar to crocuses where they're up very early, sometimes in the snow, hence snowdrop. And Brigid is that deity very much related to Imbolc, which is that like return to the light. So it's kind of that hopefulness of this time of year, things starting to melt. So interesting, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm excited to have this out for the spring and summer to really explore kind of this new way it feels like they're working for me, which is, again, personally so exciting. So yeah, Divine Ephemera. Okay. What else? Ooh, this is one, it kind of is the coloring. The Starseeker Oracle. I've been using this a bit this month and really, really enjoying it. And I think, well, like I already said, it's kind of the coloring. Look at that purple. We've got a lot of like the pastel blues and pinks and purples. Again, I think this is one that it can be all year, but I'm really excited to pair it with a lot of the tarots I have pulled out. I think it's going to pair really well. It just feels like this sort of emergence energy to me so far. It's such a beautiful deck. I'm really, really just so pleasantly surprised by it in the way of just like my own personal love for it, because I was never interested in the tarot. I didn't think this kind of art style was for me, but I don't know, the way it's done in the Oracle is just, it's working for me. And I really enjoy it. I think it's going to be just a really good I don't know, emergence energy kind of deck. And I think that's where it kind of slotted in my brain too, as far as like spring. Oh, it's so pretty. Like those colors, the sky, the way the sky is drawn feels like that springtime sky. So that is the Starseeker Oracle. Now let's take a gander at my basket and think, is there anything, anything over there? Yeah. Unlocking the Secret Garden Oracle. This is one I've kind of been waiting. I mean, I have used it, but from using it a bit, I discovered that it feels a bit similar to me to my Coastal Curiosities. But the difference is that to me, Coastal Curiosities, why I'm not showing it here is because that is really like an all season, all year long deck for me. It is a staple, top favorite, and it feels like it relates to every season regardless. Where this to me, it feels like it is similar to Coastal Curiosities, but more focused into the garden energy. Of course, it's unlocking the secret garden. And so I'm feeling like that's where the difference is a bit, is like, okay, there's a bit more of like an animal plant focus, like what's showing up here, we are really focusing in on like the specifics of what show up here, in a way, and how it relates to this time of year. That's my feeling on it, anyway. Where Coastal Curiosities, it's like you are paying attention to what's going on in the image, but it doesn't feel so, while there are a lot of animals and botanicals, that's not like all there is, and it just feels like those are like elements of the bigger picture, where to me this feels like we are meant to really focus in on those. And with this idea of unlocking the secret garden, it feels a bit of a way of like, again, that emergence energy of like the themes that come up in the springtime. It's unlocking that part of ourselves after a winter's rest, winter's slowing down. It feels like this way of kind of emerging within myself as well. So far, it's like, and again, this is new, so I don't know, but I'm just having a feeling that's how it's gonna work for me. Of using it as this way of getting back into this season, unlocking it again, discovering it again. I'm really excited to try that out. So that is the Unlocking the Secret Garden Oracle. And that, my friends, is the last deck I have to show you today. So, if you are one who works with decks seasonally, I'm so curious to know what you're excited about for spring. I can't wait to get into these. I love a shifting of the season to really just, again, get into like because I switch around the energy from like month to month, but the extreme shift in energy is with the season, so always exciting to enter a new season. With that being said, that's all I have for you for today. So, other than that, I hope you're having a great day so far, and I'll see you again very soon.